All right, so we're going to come to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. For me, I like to be cross-legged, but it doesn't matter how you want to be. I'm sitting on the floor. If it's too difficult for you to get on the floor this morning, you're certainly welcome to sit in a chair or something else. I am just trying to gather some music real quick, and then we'll get started. Sorry. Sitting up nice and tall, let's connect with our breath. So take a moment to just listen to your breath, to notice your breath. Notice the way it sounds as it's moving into your body and the way it sounds as it's moving out from your body. Sometimes our breath is barely audible, and some days it's much more loud. And now that you've identified or tuned into the sound of your breath, notice the feel of your breath, what it feels like as you move into the body and out from the body. Notice if your breath is moving in and or out your mouth or your nose. And notice where the breath is going once it enters and where it's coming from as it leaves. And we're going to try to take a longer breath. As you breathe in, try to make your breath just a little longer than what you were noticing a moment ago. Maybe even counting the breath so that you have a better idea of how long it is. Like I'm inhaling and it's taking 1, 2, 3 before I exhale. And then see if you can lengthen that breath a little bit. Maybe if you counted to 3, you can then count to 4. Or to 5, or to 10, or something else. And now that we've created this awareness of our breath, come back to a natural breath, where we're not thinking so much about the breath, but that we know how to access it throughout our practice. We can come into our breath by listening to it, by feeling it, by noticing where it's coming from, where it's going to, and what it feels like as it travels. So with an inhale, let's raise our chin gently, stretching the throat and chest muscles. Not a great big stretch, just enough to open and a small stretch. And then with an exhale, lower your chin down, stretching through the back of your neck, into your shoulders and upper back. With an inhale, raise your head back to center. Then we're going to look out over the right shoulder, Just noticing your range of motion this morning. Then over the left shoulder. Again, noticing your range of motion. Back to the right one more time. Becoming aware if you've got tightness, tension, or restrictions. Always being mindful of any pain triggers. If you feel any pain, ease out of the position you're in. Back to the left. And center once again. Let's roll the shoulders a little bit. We're going to do it by bringing the arms out and then hands to top of your shoulders. And rolling the elbows in circles forward. And around. And we're going to end by bringing the elbows up and then in towards each other. See if you can make your elbows touch. One more breath. Bring the elbows out and down. Okay. And let's roll the shoulders back as well. We're going to leave the elbows down for this one, raising the shoulders up towards the ears. Draw back, down, forward, and up again. Keep that motion going as slowly or as quickly as is comfortable for you. And now on the next time you bring the shoulders up and back, hold them there, keeping your chest open, your shoulder blades gently pinched in toward each other. See if you can get a feeling of your shoulder blades pulling down your back a little bit, rather than just simply shoulder blades in together, shoulder blades in and down. Really opening the chest area. And relax. Rearrange your legs here if you need to, if you're feeling your legs falling asleep at all, or what, if you're ready for a different position, feel free to move into that different position. We're going to go into a seated cat and cow for a couple of rounds. So with an inhale, draw your chin down and come forward, and then lift your chin up, stretching the front of the body. On the exhale, drop your chin down towards your chest, round your spine and pull back. Let your shoulders go here. Inhale again, forward, lift your chin up, stretch your throat up, arching your back. And exhaling, drop your chin down, round the spine, come back. Let's do one more time. Inhale, come forward, lift the chin up. And exhale, drop the chin, round the spine, pull back. Come back to center when you're ready. Sitting up nice and tall here, draw your navel in towards your spine. Open heart, shoulders relaxed down. Taking a little twist by bringing our left hand over to our right thigh or knee or wherever that lands. Right hand's gonna come out to the right and then reach back. Twisting right through center, right through your core. Keep your navel drawn in so that you're protecting your spine. And then try to reach your right arm back behind you without leaning back. Take a breath or two. Quiet doggies. And release. Let me quiet my dog somehow. We're going to go to the other side. Reinforce that your core is engaged by drawing your navel in. You guys quiet down. Reaching back then with your left arm. Being mindful that you're not leaning back. And release, come forward. Sorry about the dogs barking there, guys. Hope that didn't ruin your Zen. Let's release the legs forward if they're not already there. Flat on the ground, unless flat on the ground is uncomfortable for you, bend your knees up. And if you find you're bending your knees up, this is a great opportunity to place a pillow or a blanket or a block underneath your knees to help support your legs downward. If you find your upper body is wanting to pull back when you straighten your legs, do the same. Bend your knees up so that you can sit up tall. For some of us, we might even need to bend the knees pretty significantly in order to keep our back erect, and that's okay. So wherever you're at this morning is just fine. Flex your toes toward your body. Okay. Bring your hands down to your sides, palms flat on the ground, or if you're sitting on a pillow, flat on the pillow. Lift your spine nice and tall. Shoulders are drawn back, chest is open, and we're looking straight forward in staff pose. Breathe and see if you can bring that breath all the way down into your belly. Breathe in and breathe out with each exhalation. Allow your shoulders to soften a little bit more. We're not pressing our hands into the ground, rather they're just resting into the ground. Two more breaths here in staff pose. Good, and from here you can relax it a little bit. We're going to go into a rock the baby. So keeping the right leg straight, we're going to bend the left knee and bring the left foot up towards our thigh. You can keep the right leg relaxed while we're doing this. Bring your right hand to the left foot and left hand to the left knee. And lift that lower leg a little bit. From here, we're going to rock the leg to the right and to the left at your own pace. If you've got the flexibility in your hips this morning, you're welcome to bring the leg closer to your body, but try not to let it draw you back. And also, don't overstretch. Don't try to prove something to yourself, but rather do what nurtures your body. Side to side, getting movement in the hip. And let's see if we can't make a little circle with our hip joint. So drawing the left knee up a little bit, bringing it into the right, and down, out to the left, and up again. Making a complete circle with the hip joint. The leg is still while we move the hip. And let's go the other direction as well. Out to the left, lowering it down, crossing to the right, and up again. And continuing that way. Now, if you're having a hard time, and I should have said this before, if you're having a hard time reaching your foot or your knee, try bending the left knee or bringing the left foot in to make it more accessible. If that doesn't work for you, then turn off your speakers and talk to me. Or turn off your mute button and talk to me. And let's go ahead and release the left leg down and bring the right leg in. Right foot's gonna rest on the left thigh, left hand to the right foot, right hand to the right knee. Lifting that foot and leg up a little bit, just rocking side to side, over to the left, back to the right, left, right. And again, you can bring that in closer to your body if you would like. Not forcing anything, just doing what feeds your body. With a peaceful transition into some hip circles, bring the left knee in, down, out to the left. I'm sorry, right, we're on the right side, and then up again. Sorry about that. So the right knee is coming to the left, down, out to the right, and up again. And around. Couple more times. And then we'll change directions. So the right knee comes out to the right, down, into the left, and up. Let's go ahead and relax that knee down. Bring your left foot into your right thigh as if we're in a seated tree pose. Sitting up nice and tall here, we're going to bring both hands to the right thigh. Keep tall while you walk the hands down the leg, going for a gentle stretch here. We're looking for a stretch in the back of the right thigh. If your left knee doesn't want to come down, this is another opportunity to place something under the knee to help support it. I've got a block right here, so I might place a block under my knee. A pillow, a blanket, a towel works great for this as well. Keeping the chest up tall and the spine is tall as well. Just walking the hands down. As soon as our back starts to round or our shoulders start to reach, that's when we want to come back up and know that we've reached the extent of where we need to be right now. Take a few deep breaths, just really feeling the stretch that you're getting here or the range of motion. One more breath. And walk your hands back up your leg, come up tall, and we'll move into butterfly pose. The right foot comes into the left foot. Relaxing the right knee, relaxing the left knee. Butterfly pose is a great opportunity to have 2 towels, 2 blankets, 2 pillows, 2 blocks underneath each knee so that it becomes a very passive, comfortable posture. Some of us have our knees up much higher. And so we might need a larger pillow or higher blocks. But it feels so much more comfortable, and ultimately it allows our tissues to release deeper when we have support to allow our posture to become passive. See if we can intertwine the fingers and wrap them underneath the feet. Lifting the chest up. Shoulders relaxed. Face is soft, maybe a little smile on your face. If you find that your back, hips, or legs are real tight, it wouldn't be wrong to lean back here a little bit and see if that helps. See if that makes it more comfortable. Contrarily, if you want to go deeper, lean forward here to get a deeper stretch. Take 2 more breaths here in our butterfly pose. Go ahead and extend your left leg straight forward. Maybe adjusting your sitting bones a little bit so that you're more comfortable here. Up to you. Right knee stays bent with the right foot in towards the left thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, tummy's pulled in. Both hands come to the left thigh. And with that nice straight upper body, we walk the hands down the legs just until we feel the back start to round or the shoulders start to reach. And then we come back to that lifted chest and straight spine. So this isn't a time where we're going to be bent all the way down. In most cases, maybe 1 or 2 of you will be able to come all the way down with a straight back, but most of us can't. Most of us, it's just going to be a small movement forward. Looking for a stretch in the top of the thigh, and by top I mean the top of the hamstrings. Maybe you feel this stretch elsewhere. You might feel it in your low back or in your hips, or maybe even in your lower leg. Sitting here with your breath and with your feelings in that stretch. All right, let's come on back up. We're going to come up to standing. However you'd like to get to standing is how we're going to choose to get there today. We're going to come to mountain pose, feet hip width apart. And whenever I say hip width, I'm always meaning the front hip bones, not the outer hip fat, but the front hip bones. So feet are going to be lined up with the hips. Or if it's really more comfortable for you, you can bring your feet together. Play around with that, see what feels best for you. And some days that might be different than other days. Lifted toes, spread your toes, relax your feet down. Finding balance throughout the entire foot. Noticing if you're leaning back, leaning forward, leaning on the inner arches or leaning on the outer foot. And then try to correct it so that weight is throughout the entire foot. Forward and back and side to side. Contract your thigh muscles. Lift the kneecaps up. Draw your navel in and up towards your ribs. See if you can lift your pelvic floor by drawing the perineum muscles up. Shoulders up towards your ears, shoulders back. Drop them down. Arms at your side, palms facing forward or in towards your hips. Whatever feels most comfortable. And then we're looking straight forward. Chin is lifted so that it's parallel to the ground, so that the bottom of the chin is parallel to the ground. Tall and strong in our mountain pose. Take a couple of breaths here as we're encouraging alignment of the spine and strength throughout the whole body. From your mountain pose, which as I had mentioned last week, if you're new, is the foundation of every standing yoga pose. So we want a nice, strong, stable mountain pose. We're going to triangle pose. So we're taking a big step back with the left leg and opening the hip. So our right foot is facing forward. Our left foot is facing out along with our hip. The right heel is on the same line as the left arch. So look down. If your heel is in line with your other heel, or if your front heel is in line with your back toes, take a step to adjust that. It should be right heel is on the same line as the left arch. Okay. Both legs remain straight here, and we reach the arms wide. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears as the arms are wide. Look out to your right so that you're looking at the right middle finger. Draw the tummy in, reach with the arms and body to the right, and then lower the right arm down while the left arm comes up. Good. Keep the left hip open and only reach as far as allows you to while keeping that hip and chest open. If your hip or chest starts closing, then come up higher. If you're feeling pretty flexible in your left side, you can bring your hand all the way down to the ground. But don't make that a goal. Make opening the body the goal, because that is the purpose of this pose, is to open the body and open the heart. I'm going to come take a look at everybody, see how we're doing. Remember to breathe and check in with your breath and see what that feels like. Notice how your breath changes in your different poses. Wow, you guys look wonderful. Really good. I don't have any suggestions to make here, it looks like. All right, last breath here. With an inhale, we're going to soften the right knee. Bend the right knee just a little bit to help ourselves come up back to standing tall. Relax your arms down. Draw the right foot in. We're going to go right over to the other side for an easy transition. Left foot comes out. So you might not be facing your computer anymore or your screen anymore. So you'll have to just know what to do because you just did it on the other side. Left heel is in line with your right arch. The only exception to that is that your right foot might be facing a little bit forward toward the left foot, and that's okay if it is. But the heel is in line with the arch. Both legs are straight. And here we go. With an inhale, arms wide, navel's drawn in nice and tight to protect your spine. Shoulders are relaxed away from your ears, chest is open. Looking out toward your left middle finger, gonna reach with the body and the left arm to the left. And then bring the left arm down. The right arm lifts up, opening up the right hip, keeping the chest open as well. Again, remind yourself to check in. If that chest starts coming down, or if the hip starts leading you to the left, if the right hip starts leading you down or to the left, then come back up a little bit higher in your triangle pose so that you can keep the side body open. Take some breaths here. Notice the way that breath feels in your body on this side of your triangle pose. 2 more breaths. When you're ready, with an inhale, bend your left knee a little bit to help support you coming back up tall, arms wide, and then bring the arms down. Step your left foot or turn your left foot in, and then gently walk your feet in and come back up to mountain pose. A fully activated mountain pose. Notice there's a significant difference between a mountain pose and just standing here. I keep getting message that my internet is unstable. If at any point that you lose me, somebody wave their hand to catch my attention. And if that doesn't work, give me a text or call. Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths here. From here, we're gonna go to warrior 1. With the left leg, take a step straight back. We stay facing forward in warrior 1. The left foot for most of us naturally turned out to the left a little bit, and that's exactly what we want. If it didn't naturally turn out to the left a little bit, turn your toes, your left toes, out to the left just a little bit. Hips are still facing forward. Bend your right knee so that the knee is above the ankle. Press your left heel down into your mat. Big stretch there in the back of the leg, perhaps. And with an inhale, both arms reach up overhead, palms facing toward each other. Notice where your weight is distributed in your legs, if it's all in the back leg or all in the front leg, and even it out if it is. We want weight to be distributed evenly throughout both legs if we can. If you want to try for a little bit of balance here, look up between your hands. Really reach the upper body up towards the ceiling. One more breath. Keeping the arms up overhead, straighten the front leg. We're headed to pyramid pose. Keep the spine tall, hinge at the hips as you reach the chest forward and then down, letting your hands come down. Hands might be coming down to the floor. They might be coming down to blocks or to your thigh, but we're keeping both legs straight. Relax the head downward. Try to keep the spine lengthened without over rounding your back. And we try to keep both hips facing forward. For some of us, the left hip really wants to pop open and up when we come into this. Try to keep both hips facing forward. Two more breaths here in pyramid pose. With a slight bend in the right knee, bring yourself back up. Arms reach up overhead. Bend the right knee, bringing you back to warrior 1. Arms come down. Thrust off of the back leg and come forward back to mountain pose. Take a breath or two there. And we're gonna go to warrior 1 on the other side. With an inhale, right leg comes straight back. We're stepping back, a big step back. As I said before, the right foot probably naturally turned out just a little bit. If it didn't, turn your toes to face to the right just a little bit. Not a big lot, just a little bit in what feels natural. Both legs stay straight, both hips forward. Good. And then we bend the left knee. Knee is above the ankle. Both arms reach up overhead, palms facing toward each other. Reaching the upper body up. If you want to add the little balance challenge, go ahead and look up. Trying to touch the ceiling. Again, I'm going to come check us out, see how we're looking. Good. Remember to breathe, noticing what your breath feels like in this posture. Engage your upper thighs if you can. Try to squeeze the inner thigh. This will help protect the knees in a pose like this. Everybody's looking good. One more breath. And then with an inhale, straighten the left leg. Headed towards pyramid pose, reach up. And then on an exhale, keep the spine straight. Chest comes forward as we reach forward. And then bringing the hands down. Again, hands might come down to the ground, to blocks or something else, to the ankle, to the shin, to the thigh. Making this comfortable for you with both legs straight. And I say straight legs, but we do want to have some softness to our knees so that we're not stretching the ligaments behind the knees because they don't stretch. And we don't want to injure ourselves. So you might have just the softest baby bend or a micro bend in your knees. That'll depend on your anatomy. You'll know if the back of your knees start talking to you. If they start telling you to relax the knees, you'll know. Let the head relax down and allow the shoulders to soften a little bit. Last breath here in pyramid pose. With an inhale, we're going to soften the left knee, bending it a little bit, raise back up to warrior one, reaching up. Bend that knee a little bit deeper. Okay. Straighten through the leg, bring the arms down. Step up to mountain pose. Okay, from here we're going to go into well, actually, I think we need to get down onto the ground because class time is about up. So let's take a little squat to get down. See where our squat's out. Bringing the feet about the edges of your mat. Toes facing slightly out from each other. As always, in our squat, we're just gonna go as far as feels good in our body down toward the ground. Once you get as low as your bottom is willing to go toward the ground, then bring yourself all the way down to your bottom in whatever way feels comfortable for you to get there. Bring your hands to your waist. Bend in your knees, draw your seat back, and slowly start lowering down. See how that feels. Regardless of what other people might be doing, if you can even see other people, wherever your point is that you feel like, okay, that's my limit, I need to come down to the ground, then do that. Maybe you can come quite low in your squat. Don't force it. Listen to your body and do what feels right in your hips and your knees. And then when you've gotten to the point that, okay, that's enough, go ahead and come down to the ground. Once down on the ground, we're going to come all the way to our back. We don't have a whole lot of time here on our back.
So we're just gonna do one or two more stretches here. Let's reach our arms up overhead. Stretch through the upper body. Reach the fingertips behind you. And then relax it down. With your knees bent, feet flat on the ground, we're gonna go into a figure four, or a reclining pigeon, it's sometimes called. The right knee is gonna come in, and we bring the right foot to on top of our left thigh. Maybe I should turn this way so y'all can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Right foot on top of the left thigh. And then the left hand comes between the legs and meets the right hand behind the leg, intertwining the fingers. We relax our head down. If you can't relax your head down in this posture, a pillow underneath your shoulders would be a great idea. I did this wrong, you guys. My dogs were distracting me. I'm so sorry. This is so silly. Our right hand comes between our legs, and our left hand comes behind our left leg, not our right leg. That was so silly of me. And that left foot comes off of the ground. So that hands are meeting behind the left thigh. The left knee stays bent for a deeper hip stretch, or the left leg comes straight to include a hamstring stretch. That's up to you. Play around with that and see what feels better, if the straight leg or the bent leg feels better. The intention of this posture is to get a stretch in the outer right hip area and in the right buttocks and thigh area. Now you guys, I'm gonna throw you a curveball and we're gonna activate our core right now. So straighten your left leg and see if you can rock yourself up to seated in this position. So rocking yourself up to seated with that left leg still extended straight. It's okay if you can't, no worries. If you've done that, slowly bring yourself back down, activating your core. Let's give that a try one more time. If you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, lift your head and watch me do it. Just rocking up. And then with control, coming down. Go ahead and release. We'll stretch the other side. Both knees bent. Left knee comes in. Left foot comes on top of the right thigh. Left hand comes between the legs to meet the right arm behind the right thigh, or to meet the right hand behind the right thigh. Again, that right knee can be bent or legs straight. See what feels best and most appropriate for you this morning. And just breathe. Notice the way your breath feels in this posture. Notice the way your body feels in this posture. Move in whatever way you'd like. Maybe you like to circle your ankles here or point your toes. Or maybe you'd like to alternate from a bent knee to a straight leg. Or maybe you like to rock side to side. See what feels good for you. And then honor that. And just when you're ready for fun, see if we can activate the core and rock ourselves up to seated.
Kind of a half boat pose, really. Really nice. From that half boat pose, see if you can gently, with control, bring yourself back down and try it one more time. Excuse me. It's a tough one, isn't it? Let's come all the way down to our back and finish in our relaxing Shavasana. So all the way back down on our back, legs straight out in front of us, each foot falling away from the other, arms out at the side, palms facing up if you can to get your position, to get your shoulders in a nice position. Looking straight up. Closing your eyes if you're comfortable with that. You could even put on a sleep mask over your eyes, and that'd be nice. And we're going to allow our body to just sink into the mat or into the carpet or whatever it is that you're practicing on. In Shavasana, we allow our body to feel heavy, to feel supported by the earth. But we allow our thoughts to remain light. We allow our mind to remain light. You might imagine that your thoughts that come into your mind are just like passing clouds or a slow-moving train car. We can acknowledge that it's there, but allow them to just pass through without stopping to inquire about them. And in Shavasana, in our final relaxing pose, that's where we want to be. We want to be observers rather than engagers. Observe your breath. Observe your body. Observe your thoughts, but don't engage. Allow it all to be just as it is, without interruption, without input. Isn't that freeing and peaceful to not have to give any input? Our body knows just what to do. If you find your mind racing, if you find just observing to be really difficult, see if you can find a focal point. The focal point can be with your eyes open, something that you can focus at on your ceiling. Or it can be audible, something you can hear with your ears, like the music coming through the speakers. The focus could even be something that you taste or smell. Maybe you have a candle or an oil diffusing, and that could be your focus. Sometimes the focal point allows our observing to be just a little bit easier than it comes naturally.
Now, if you'd like to stay here and prolong this relaxed pose, do stay here. If you've got time to stay in the relaxed position, take advantage of that time and stay here, practicing one of the most important poses of yoga. Otherwise, raise your arms up over your head and stretch through your body. Pointing your toes and stretching your legs while you stretch your arms overhead. Finishing by bringing your knees into your chest. Maybe a rock side to side. Allowing your thoughts to stay in observation mode for now. Let your knees gently roll you over to your side. Taking a couple of mindful breaths there. If lying on your side is uncomfortable, you're welcome to bring yourself up to seated. Wherever you're at, take those mindful breaths, just really feeling everything as you breathe in and letting it all go as you breathe out. If you're lying on your side still, use your upper arm to press away from the ground, supporting your body up into a seated position. As you're moving up, close your eyes or keep them closed and take a quick check-in with your body, mind. Notice how you feel. Maybe do a quick reflection on your yoga practice today, taking note of what felt good, what didn't feel so good. Or maybe you don't like the word good. Maybe you like the word what felt right in your body or what felt like it belonged. What felt like it didn't belong. Doing it without any criticism or judgment towards yourself or towards the teaching, but rather just doing it in observation. Taking note of the surprise that you had of your flexibility, or taking note of the surprise that you had that you've become inflexible. No judgment, just observation. You might even take note that while you realized that you had become more flexible, or that you had become less flexible, or that you had become stronger or less strong than you used to be, you might notice in that moment you judged yourself. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But we try to approach our yoga practice with non-judgment. So we become aware that we did become our own critics. So next time we can practice letting go of the critique and allowing us to just be, to accept ourselves in this moment, whether we can touch our toes or not, whether we can hold a warrior one or not, or even whether our mind is busy racing in Shavasana or not.
You can let the idea and the ideals go and accept what is and find peace that way. And with that said, let's take one last stretch together. With an inhale, bring your arms wide and up overhead. Palms together, look up towards your thumbs. And an exhale, hands come down to your heart. Let's bring our hands to our lips, touching the pointer fingers gently to your mouth. Just to make a centered connection is the point of this. Centered connection with ourselves, who we are and who we want to be and who we've always been. And speak any words to yourself that you'd like to close your practice with. I encourage those words to include a little bit of gratitude for getting yourself here this morning, for turning on the computer, for rolling out your mat, for trying something new, for trying something old, whatever, or returning to something old, whatever it is for you. Show yourself a little gratitude. Show the powers that be to make it happen some gratitude. Honor this time. And I honor each of you. Namaste. Now, I will keep the classroom open a little bit longer if anybody has anything that they would like